One of the things that we can use as an asset to improve self-confidence and self-esteem is to have a really good relationship with people. And one of the things I've learned over the many years of doing therapy is that there's an element in communication that sometimes falls through the crack. And that element of communication is validation. We're so invested, especially when there's a relationship conflict, when things get a little warm, you know what I'm talking about? What happens is validation goes out the window. And we become so desperate for our position or our argument to be heard that now the volume may be going up. We might speak a little faster. Now, if two people are doing that, who's listening? Nobody's listening. So if you ever are in a situation where you feel like the other person has said the same thing like 2 or 3 times, that's your cue to validate. It's obvious that they have not felt heard. Because if they felt heard, what would they do? They'd be listening to you perhaps. And so if you heard the same thing over and over again, they've said the same thing 3 or 4 times, instead of being frustrated and telling them your position, instead tell them their position. As if you were like their attorney. I want you to understand their argument so much better than even them. And when that happens, you'll begin to see that they'll open up. And what you're doing is you're helping them crack open from talking to listening. And if you're talking, you're not listening. So when you're in an interaction with somebody, in a communication, whether you're at home or whether you're doing it at work, and someone said the same thing 2 or 3 times and they're starting to get frustrated, and you feel like you're not being understood, put your opinion, your position on a shelf. Because it's obvious they're not listening to you either. And seek first to understand, then to be understood.